Hello everyone, welcome to the DWA Minute for All ETF. Today's date is Tuesday, March 31st, the last day of the month, and we're excited to be back with you today. It has been a while.
It has been a while since we've joined you via video. We've been mainly writing the articles, so we're excited to be back and do our monthly review of the best and worst performers in the ETF space for the month.
Right. And Amy's going to start off by pointing some of the best performers for the month so far.
Yeah, so overall the equity market was, it wasn't a great month for the equity market. We saw the S&P was down about 2.4%. EFA, which is the widely used international benchmark, was also down about 4%. And the commodity space undoubtedly was down 5% or so. And that doesn't come as a surprise because the month of May was certainly rough for the commodity asset class. But the best out of all of the ETFs that we measured, we did exclude inverse and leverage products from this list, as well as the volatility products. So there weren't any VIX-related ETFs in this list. So we're looking at about 900 total. And the best performing was the EPU, and that's the iShares Peru Capped Index Fund. That was up 8.13%. So we're not seeing astronomical returns to the upside, but that's going to be just generally because it was a quiet market in the month of May. Right. Another one of the international names that crept up in the top was Egypt. The Market Vectors Egypt Index Fund. EGPT is the symbol on that one. And we thought that was pretty interesting that both Peru and Egypt were in the top this month because they had perpetually been down in the bottom after, specifically Egypt with the unrest over in the Middle East.
Right, And specifically last month, those two ETFs were down about 8%
each.
8% each,
Yeah.
and they both were in the bottom of the list that we did last time. So that's interesting to see that they were able to climb up on the top this month.
So there was definitely been some, rotation within the international space. Another thing that we thought was interesting is that we grabbed the top 30 performing ETFs so far this month. We're a little off of close today, so numbers could change a little bit, but we've got some pretty concrete numbers here. And 50% of those, so 15 out of the 30 best performing ETFs were actually fixed income funds. So we can attribute this to a few different things. First, with equities struggling a little bit, commodities definitely having a rough patch throughout the month of May, people may have been pushing assets into those historically more conservative asset classes like fixed income or foreign currencies, those lower beta asset classes as we refer to them.
Right.
So all of those were, ranged in performance from 2.5% up to about 4% in the fixed income space. The last thing that we wanted to point out on the best side of the story was a commodity. So most of the commodities were in negative territory or just flat for the month of May. Sugar, the iPath Sugar Total Return Sub-Index ETN, the symbol on that is SGG. That was up a little more than 2.5% for the month, and that was another one that was a little bit interesting because it had been at the bottom of the list for the past couple of months.
Right, it was down 14% actually, and this month it's up about 2.5%. And if you look at the worst performers for the month, it didn't come as a surprise that silver-related products such as the DBS and SLV in the bottom of the heap. They are down about 21%. And also the SIVR, which is the ETF Silver Trust, is also down about 21% for the month. And silver, we had a lot of, everyone was paying attention to silver. It had such a big move.
Silver certainly came into focus. There were consistent margin increases on that. So we just saw silver fall day after day after day, but that came after a substantial rally throughout the month of April where it just continued to climb day after day after day. So when you're in the commodity space, it's the double-edged sword of volatility.
It's a volatile asset class. And silver's in April it was one of the best performing ETF. It's up about 21%.
Right.
And basically gave everything back.
Right. Exactly.
And also Vietnam, we continue to see that it's been producing negative return. The VNM is the ticker symbol. It's down about 14% for the month. Also, one interesting observation is Turkey. Turkey, the ticker symbol is TUR. It's the iShares Turkey Index. It's down about 15% for the month. While last month in April it was down, it was up 10%. It was one of the best performers, and it's now down to the bottom of the list. So that's interesting to point out.
Yeah, another one that I just actually came across was the iShares Italy Index Fund. And I remember last month talking about how we saw developed markets creep back onto the scene, namely Italy and Spain have been some of the top performers, and I see that that's in the the bottom half of the list. It was down about 10% or so. So again, the month of May was a month of change, definitely a month of rotation within the ETF space.
Certainly not kind to the commodity asset class.
No, definitely not. So that's all that we have for you today. Hopefully we'll be joining you sooner than another month from now. Hopefully we'll see you on a weekly basis going forward. So thanks so much for joining us.